the song that follows, I have a song that actually stalks me spiritually. Has a song ever just haunted your life? Like, it's not coincidence. The song pops up just when you kind of expect it. Boom, there it is. For me, it's that song Roxanne. Now, Roxanne, you don't have to put on a red light, by the Police. I didn't know that was Sting that sings it. I wish I could meet him. This song, just to tell him the story. Now, I'm not saying like I want to be a prostitute because I think that's what the song's about. But in a way, we're all prostitutes. Like for me, I was a prostitute for many different reasons. Like I didn't have much of an education. I dropped out of school early to wash cars for a living. And that's about the most Ohio sentence you'll probably ever hear. But I remember I quit school, and it was before I even fully quit school. It was like I was 15, didn't even have a license yet, and I was detailing cars at this place called Finish Line. It was like a father-son business, the Beamans or whatever. This is how bad I wanted the job. I loved cars, and I thought it was a cool job to wash and detail cars. I did it one weekend with my father's work, and I loved it for his crew. They all like did the Pontiacs during the racetrack thing or whatever. And I thought it was fun, man. You get to play and drive these cool cars like Corvettes and all these Mercedes and Escalades. I didn't even have a license. Here I am, some kid in learning disability class, driving a Corvette around my neighborhood. And they never asked for a license. Here's the catch with the job. They never paid me. I wanted the job so bad, I used to go up there and beg. I'd be like, please. He'd be like, look, you're young. We don't need workers. I was like, I just want to learn. I just want to be around it. And he's like, look, you can hang out here if you want. Hang out here, you can learn, you can help the guys, but we don't got room now. So I started helping the guys and working, and I started getting good, and they tipped me out. I make like $3 here, $5 a day, or if I stay late, I did a boat one time. I remember the guy paid me $7. And when you're like 14, that's a lot of money back then, $7. So, I worked about 19 hours. And this song came on when they hired me full-time for the summer. And I'll never forget, we go in, and I used to like it. I'd heard it, Roxanne, and throughout the summer, I'd see my friends coming over. They'd be roller skating and having fun. They used to come watch me detail. I got a buddy, Charles E. Borton. Dude was actually studying to be a brain surgeon, and he turned it all around to detail. He got really serious with detailing cars. And he does pro coating, ceramic, everything. I mean, he's good. And he used to come up there and watch me. I knew he was a younger detailer. I'd show him, this is how you hold a rag. I was like I was like really, like, I was trying to be like a mentor, I would say, to the younger detailers. I would say I was trying to be like a father for him, but I was always borrowing money off the guy. But either way, this song, Roxanne's on all summer. Towards the end of the summer, I got so mad at hearing the song. And I fully dropped out of school. And I just kept hearing the song, Roxanne. I mean, they play that song every day, 1,000 times a day. You don't have to put... So I ended up working at this car wash place for years. It got so bad, I would have to go lower the damn volume. I was at the car wash for 10 years. I thought this was just going to be a summer job for fun, and my whole life was going to work out. And I can't even afford to drive none of the cars I'm detailing. You make like $30 a car. You make no money detailing. It's hard. So I would go lower. And our stereo was on top of a shelf because our boss hated when we changed the station. I would take a broomstick and reach up, and I had to lower the damn thing. I couldn't hear the song no more. It'd make me sick. Roxanne, I'd always tell these guys I wanted to do comedy. I was like, I'm going to move to New York. I'm not going to wash cars and this and that. And years went by. I kept getting on probation. I got another probation story for you, too. 2 times I got back-to-back probation. One was from eluding the police through the drug stop, and the other one was my girlfriend was drunk driving, trying to go around me and hit a telephone pole. I tried hiding her car. I'll tell that story. It's crazy. The cop that arrested us had a crush on her. I mean, talk about a cuckold situation. So either way, this song, man, dude, and everybody's telling me you're not gonna ever go to New York because now I've been talking about it for 2 years without doing it. You ain't going to New York. You ain't going. You're gonna end up here washing cars your whole life. I remember they'd say. And that song came on, and the guy's saying this to me, and I just got in my car. I was like, dude, I'm going to New York. Like, screw all you guys. They couldn't believe it. I pulled out beeping, and I was blasting that song. Now I loved it. That Roxanne, I listened to it all the way up to New York. I was like, I'm no longer a hooker now. I'm doing my own thing. And I drove all the way up to all the way to New York, 80 East, just Roxanne. I get to New York and I land a job, which I got a story about that, about a Mexican restaurant. The guy was really cool, but he was one of those undercover gay guys. You don't know he's gay. And then, you start to realize after a while, though, a couple nicknames, pinch of the cheek. They were playing a game. He hired like 3 of us, and they would play a game where they would smack each other on the butt. He's like, that's the one rule. Everybody here smacks each other on the butt. But I don't want to get sidetracked. I'll tell you that story later. But this dude, I ended up getting fired. The boss was some guy from he got in trouble in Ecuador or somewhere for something, and he opened up a restaurant here, and I ended up fighting his son. So it's a whole thing. I got fired. I thought you can get a job anywhere in New York, and I couldn't land one. I ran out of money. I mean, dude, I was dead broke. Like, I'm telling you, the brokest I've ever been in my whole life. I remember I got caught trying to steal change out of a Wish fountain in front of Chase Bank. I was reaching in there I just didn't want to steal food from a store at that point in time. This is before everybody was running out of Dwayne Reed with trash bags. I just didn't want, people load up everything in the whole store and run out. And now on TikTok, we found out, it's got to be $1,000 for you to get in trouble. Which TikTok's the craziest thing because now you got dumb criminals learning how to break the law. Like, you ever hear them talk to police? Well, tell me what's the application of my application, officer? Huh? Looks like you need to read the rule book more. But, yeah, I'm stealing change out of the Wish fountain, man. A cop busts me. He's like, what are you doing? Let it go. I was so hungry. I didn't want to let those quarters go. I was sitting on them all wet. He takes my ID. He goes, look, if you don't give me those quarters, I'm arresting you for robbing a bank. Isn't that crazy? He said stealing change from a Wish fountain in front of the bank is the same charge as robbing a bank, which is insane to me. And I had to go to court for that, too. And I really did. And I went to court. And it's like, how much money you think you're going to get from me? I hope you don't mind. If you want me to quit robbing Wish fountains, then you can't be giving me tickets. I go to court, and the guy's like, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest? And I told him straight out, I said, I plead not guilty. And he goes, yeah, well, we got you on camera reaching in there and stealing the change. And they play it, and you see me all scoping it out, and you see a couple people there throwing change in, and I reach in, because I seen this person. I mean, they threw in a handful of silver, and I reach in and grab it. He goes, now what do you have to say about that? I said, well, sir, can you turn the volume up? He goes, there's no volume on the tape. I go, oh, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, the guy next to me, he actually said, I wish to feed the hungry, and he threw that in, and I was starving, sir, so sometimes wishes do get granted. The judge actually laughed and let me off. So that was pretty cool. That's when I was like, maybe I could be a comedian. But, man, I was going through it, dude. I used to go to Five Guys and steal peanuts. I even became homeless in New York. I could touch in more on this story, but I would seriously, man, I would go there to take the peanuts. I'd sit down with a family. They have the free peanuts. And I'd just act like I know people. Hey, I'm just visiting alone. I'm a loner. You guys enjoying New York? I start making them laugh. And I'm sitting there eating all these peanuts. Oh, no, I'm with them. And that was my move to eat back in the day. And it got to a point where I was homeless. I was living in CubeSmart for a month, And I had to just call it, man. I remember all I had was I took my dang shirt and wiped my butt with it. I had no socks. I remember one time I woke up in Union Square Park and somebody took a poop next to me. I don't know. It was crazy. I could tell more about that. I mean, I'm not bummed about it because everything led me to where I am. But when you're at your end, I was done. I was on my way to the damn bus station. and I'm walking on one flip flop. Somebody broke my damn flip flop that night in Times Square. I used to just walk around Times Square and look for change on the ground or money, and you can get inside a bar. You'd be surprised. West Village, you can find like $100 bill laying on the ground. Everybody's drunk. It's crazy. There's so many people. And, I had nothing, man. I mean, I had that thing, those change eyes. You ever see somebody just scanning the floor for change or cigarettes? That's what I had going on. Dude breaks my flip-flop. I was done, barefoot in New York. I said, that's it. I'm going to the Greyhound. I'm going to borrow $60 off somebody. I'm going to Ohio. I'm done. I was relieved to be done with New York. I said, this city's way too damn hard. And this dude comes walking by me. He's like, Roxanne, you don't have to put on. And I was like, dude, I gotta stay. And I stayed. I stayed in New York. I got a job walking dogs. I didn't want to give up, man. I went up to the Bronx and bought a T-shirt for $3 and had, I think my roommate moved out and I was using his size like 14 shoes. And I was like, man, I'm going to make this work, dude. And I did it, man, walking dogs with some big feet. And then I got hired on the cruise ships. Things started working out in comedy. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like working on cruise ships either. I got tons of stories about that where I could talk about. Like the first one, I didn't know the proper etiquette for cruise ships. I'll do that story again. But, man, I worked on cruise ships just living on the ocean for 4 years. And I caught myself back being a hooker again. I didn't like doing it. My hair was falling out. You're out on the ocean. It's like you got to eat what they cook. You got all these rules. And I was like, man, I can't do it. And what song do they play all the time on cruise ships? Roxanne.